This is the Female Founder Show with host and entrepreneur Bridget Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Female Founder Show. Today's guest is award-winning tech entrepreneur and founder and CEO of LILLII R&B. Please welcome Barbara Jones-Brown. Barbara, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I would love to jump right in and talk to you about how you got into the tech industry.
Oh, so that's an amazing story, Bridget. I'm the first person in my family to even enter this type of field, and I stumbled upon it. Happened to take a computer programming class in high school and just fell in love with it. I really wanted to be an engineer. Never thought about computer programming until I took that class and fell in love with it. And 20 years later, I'm still doing it.
Oh my gosh, that's great. And you're a coder. And
I'm a coder.
Yeah, good for you.
A software architect, coder. So I've been all over the gamut of technology.
Fantastic. So talk to us a little bit about, we were talking a while back about a support system and how important that is.
Yeah.
Do you have a strong support system, and also did you in the beginning when you were just getting started?
In the beginning, I think, especially my family, they're like, what are you doing? Computer programming? Like, what is that? You know, I'm aging myself, but that was a few years ago. And so they just didn't know what it was. They knew engineering. And that's really what I'd always talked about as a kid. I'm going to be an electrical engineer. And so when it changed, it was like, are you sure you know what you're doing? Like, what is this computer programming? And so at first I second-guessed myself and decided, let me just go into engineering. Went to college, my first freshman year, took the engineering classes, was crawling around, soldering wires together. And I was like, you know what? Let me look at that programming class again. And so I went back and took some more computer programming classes, and I changed my major to computer science, never looked back. And now I have so many people that support me, a huge support system all around me. And so very fortunate to have those people that help me every day.
That's great. Now, before you started LILLII R&B, what were you doing before that?
Before that, I had a one-woman consulting firm.
Okay.
And I was doing basically what I'm doing with LILLII. I was doing that as one woman, had a small team offshore, but just realized that, man, if I can make this kind of money and do this type of things that I'm doing by myself, what would that look like if it was 10 of me?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how the whole idea was born, is let me, take what I'm doing, train other people how to do it. I started hiring programmers, really diverse programmers, women, minorities, hiring them fresh out of school, training them in retail technology, and then hiring them as my consultants out to my clients. And so that's how it started. And so now we're into all kinds of things. We're doing software engineering, system integration. We have our own product. It just grew from there, but it started out just trying to duplicate myself.
Yeah. And you were in the service?
I am.
Thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
What did you learn in the service that you've brought into your business life?
Oh my God, I tell everybody my service career and being in the military, being in the Army, I was Army Reserve, is really what taught me discipline. That was the first thing I learned is, you put your mind to something, you're gonna do it no matter what. It also taught me about hard work, never giving up. Nothing's too hard, accepting challenges, even running towards challenges.
Yes.
Army, when I was in the Army, we had just one woman battalion, among all these men, men battalions, and they had it separated at that time. And so, our female battalion outdid the guys in almost everything, shooting,
That's awesome.
PT. And so, we really stood out, and just, that military experience prepared me for entrepreneurship, which has been a battlefield. So
yes. And probably
really
also prepared you for working in a male-dominated industry, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
right.
I did.
Can you recall a time when you may have been treated unfairly because you're a woman?
There's been several times. And sometimes, you always hear of unconscious bias and different things like that. And I think, sometimes it was that. Sometimes it was conscious bias.
Right.
It wasn't always unconscious. But there's just, people were not used to seeing someone like me in this space. Retail technology is really male-dominated, especially in the area that we focus on, which is loss prevention, asset protection. There's not many companies led by someone like me, and I'm a Black woman, on top of that. And so I think some of it was like, wow, I mean, you're the owner, you're the, this is your
Yeah.
company. And so I got a lot of that. It was just not seeing someone like me in the space. And so for me, being that first one was hard, but it was also a way for me to bring people like me into the
Yes.
space and really kind of like add some diversity. And it's gotten us in a few doors. And so
Nice.
it's kind of helped. And, it was challenging at first, but I feel like now it opens up some doors for
Yeah.
us.
And you're paving the way for so many others.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
great.
definitely.
Now, can you talk to us about your most rewarding experience as a business owner?
It's been so many, Bridget. I mean, I
know.
love this question because so many rewarding experiences. I have ladies that work for me, and their first job in technology was working for me. I was the first one that gave them an opportunity. Being able to get investment from people like Serena Williams, who is an investor in the
That's
company. And so, just so many rewarding, building technology that I thought of in my head and then seeing it in the world and being used. And like, I think we have software running in over 4,000 US based stores. Well, actually, US, Canada, and Japan.
That's a lot.
So just having those thoughts in your head and then seeing them come to life is what we do as women. We birth things, right?
Yeah,
And so
right.
I'm birthing technology. And so just so many rewarding experiences, doing what I
Yeah.
do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, Black women are starting more businesses than any other segment of entrepreneurs, yet they
Yeah.
still have so many challenges when it comes to gaining access to capital.
Yeah.
You've raised some seed money and
Mhm.
some rounds there.
Yeah.
So can you talk to us about your experience?
It
with
was tough. So the first time I ever raised money was in 2021, the year of George Floyd.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
felt like that year, a lot of, attention was on, just diversity and inclusion and leveling the playing field. And so a lot of funds were created that would focus on investing in women, investing in underrepresented founders, investing in Black women. And so I had been pitching for years before that. And at first, when I started pitching, I thought, oh man, this idea, I'm going to raise a ton of money. This is going to be the easiest thing I've ever done. I could not raise a dime, and I was bootstrapped, and we're trying to build enterprise technology. We're selling it to the biggest retailers of the world. You can't come in there with a MVP.
Yeah.
You might get in the door, but they're not going to buy it. And so I had to raise capital. And so for me, it was so challenging. At one point, I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm just tired of pitching. I'm not going to pitch anymore. And one of my advisors said, Barbara, apply for this pitch. I'm like, I'm done pitching. Nobody's going to give me money. He's like, Barbara, apply. And that changed the door. It just, opened so many doors for us.
Nice.
We started getting investor after investor. And to date, we've raised over $4 million.
Congratulations.
And
That's
a lot of that
exciting.
was within 12 months.
Wow.
So
Wow.
once it started,
So yeah, right.
it
And
really
you've
got
gotten some
going.
funding through Serena Williams'
Serena
program.
Williams, yeah. Serena Williams, she led our seed round, and then we actually co-led it. We also have Aperture Venture Capital.
Nice.
They both took half of the round. So
Okay.
we closed the round with just 2 investments and
nice.
had to turn people away. So imagine not being able to raise money at all
And then you
to
had
now
to turn
turning people away.
Oh my goodness.
Validation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So rewarding, I'm
Validation.
sure. Good for you. That is
Yes.
extremely exciting. I'm
Yes.
excited for you. So now the tech industry is dominated by men, like we talked about. What advice would you give women that are thinking about getting into the tech industry?
Well, I mean, that's one thing that's a passion of mine. LILLII stands for Let's Imagine Life with Ladies in IT. It's
Love it.
actually an acronym.
Love it.
And so my goal is to get, just like with the ladies that are working for me, to get more and more women into IT. And so what I tell people is technology is everywhere. It's every industry. It touches everything. So there's all kinds of ways to get into technology without being a coder.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a coder. There's business analysts. There's people that do the testing of software. There are people that come in with the ideas. We need to know how to build some of this technology. We can build it, but we may not know how. So people come in as subject matter experts to tell you how to build technologies. And so there's so many ways to get into tech now without having to be a coder. So that's what I tell people, jump in. And then once you're inside of a technology company, a lot of them have programs that if you want to learn to be a coder, you can, and sometimes on their dime.
Yeah.
And so
Nice.
jump in whatever industry, find a way to get into the technology part of it, and and jump in even if you're not a coder and you don't want to be a coder.
Yeah, it can be fun. It
You
can
can
be
still
fun.
get in. Yeah.
Now you're working with some very large retailers. I
Mhm.
know Home Depot and several
Mhm.
others.
Yeah.
How was your business affected during the pandemic?
Oh my goodness. So Bridget, that year we actually lost 50% of our
Oh my
clients.
goodness.
Probably by April of that year, we had 50% of our projects canceled. I had a whole staff. I got just staffed up because second and third quarter are our busy quarters. So I just staffed up, and I was really just trying to figure out what were we going to do to survive. Our clients were having to close their stores
Yeah.
because of the pandemic. And so our software was for in-store. And so really, we survived through, Paycheck Protection Program. We were able to get funding there, and was able to keep everybody in the company working.
Oh, that's great.
So I didn't have to let anybody go, but
great.
it was really tough. We pivoted. We did some other things that year to help our clients with different things, different needs. And we ended the year up actually doing better than we thought we
Oh,
would
that's
do.
great. That's
So
great.
we were affected, but we turned it around.
Yeah, definitely. Now, changing gears a little bit, you have talked in the past about leaving a legacy with your company.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about why that's important to you?
It's so important to me because I come from a very, very humble beginnings. Like I said, first person in my family in tech, first person to go to college. And so just a lot of just humble beginnings, a lot of struggle. And so my daughters didn't know much struggle. They were kind of little spoiled girls, but because I was a really highly paid consultant before I even started this business. But what I want to leave for them is that legacy of entrepreneurship. I want to give them a financial leg up, so they're not having to start at the bottom. They have, they can build on top of what I did. And generational wealth. I want this to be, I want to be the one in my family that changes the trajectory. And now, it's a family that has abundance instead of lack. And so it's a lot to wear on my shoulders, but I feel like, some people are given that opportunity and I just want to run with it. So I want to build generational wealth from my family from now on. Yeah.
If your daughters were about to start their own business, what advice would you give them?
I do have one who's an entrepreneur.
Nice, good.
My youngest one, she wants to start her own business. And what I told her is, I sat down for a whole year before I started this business and I wrote down business plan. I thought about everything that could go wrong, everything that could go right. How much money would I need? So it was a lot of planning. And that's what I told her. Take some time before you start it to think through.
Yeah.
I'll help you. But let's think through what we want to do and have a good plan in place. Yeah. Have some money. It's going to take you a little seed money to get started. You don't have to go out and borrow a lot. Let's have some money saved up. But, go for your dream. That's what I tell her. Go for it. We can do it, but let's plan it out first.
That's excellent. Now, I know you were bootstrapping for a little while. How much time was it from the time that you started LILLII R&B to the time that you were actually funded?
So the company will be 10 years old.
Okay. This
year, February the 13th, will be 10. I got funding in 2021, so
okay,
8 years before we actually got funded. Now, to be honest, we started building our product probably in 2020.
Okay.
So after we started building the product was 1 year.
Okay.
But before that, it took 8 years of me just trying to get money to build the product.
Very nice. And what is the product exactly, if you can explain to our
I'd
viewers?
Love this question. So the product is called Freeing Returns, and it's basically returning money back into the hands of retailers. And our mission is to return $500 billion back into the hands of retailers. Nice. And we do that by our software identifies areas of loss, and that loss is due to fraud, is due to shrink, and it's due to any type of operational inefficiency.
Okay.
So we use data, the data that the retailers already have. We use that and we show them where they're losing money and exactly what to do to reverse that. And so we can put money back into their pockets, especially now when every penny counts.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're getting a lot of people looking at it, a lot of people interested, because now is the time to keep that found money.
Yeah, it sounds like you really can't afford not to have it.
Can't afford not to have it.
Yeah.
I love that, Bridget. Say that again. Cannot afford not to have it. Yes.
That's right. Now, you do work with very large retailers, but you do also work with small retailers.
Yeah.
I know there's probably a lot of people watching that may have one, maybe two stores.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So the technology, Freeing Returns, is in Shopify. the App Store.
Nice.
It's also in Salesforce's App Exchange.
Okay.
So we can handle retailers from the small all the way to the Fortune 500s.
Fantastic.
So we want to help all of them be able to keep money in their pockets.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, so what's next in the next 5 years? Where do you see your company and yourself professionally?
I want to give back. So I'm building this company. I've learned so much. I've raised money. You know, my goal would be to, when this company is either acquired or we go public, I want to become an investor. And my goal is to invest in Black women.
Nice, nice.
That's the first thing, but definitely just underrepresented founders. But I want to give back. I want to be on the other side, become an investor, and be able to give businesses the capital that they need, like I did, to really give them that trajectory.
Yes.
So I'm going to be an investor one day, hopefully soon.
Giving
Yes.
back to...
Giving back,
Yeah,
yes.
Nice. I love that.
Investing in women and Black women especially.
Well, good for you. Barbara, thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on
Thank you.
10 years and all of your success. I cannot wait to see where you go next.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
This is the Female Founder Show with host and entrepreneur Bridget Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN. If you're a female founder in the Atlanta market and would like to help other female founders with your inspiring story, we would love to hear from you.
This has been a JBF Business Media production.